dispose tests or whatever, then I think that gives us a better, clearer picture of learning.
Rich, we have you for the next item, Mascot timeline.
So I asked Shannon if I could discuss this with you. I'm going to just throw this out to you and let you decide and talk through it. But it just feels like this fall there's a lot going on in terms of our strategic planning and the bond election. And I am a little concerned that the messaging will be conflated, kind of just combined into one issue with the district. And that people will look at one, I feel passionately about this issue, so I'm going to be against this issue, vice versa. So I'm wondering if it would be wise to still do the process this year, but delay the meetings that we need to have until November, December, January, somewhere further down the line, so that we can work through our strategic planning and our bond elections, and then be able to devote more of our efforts to that.
When's the election? Is it November 6th? Yeah, so November 7th might be a good time. I mean, I concur exactly. That's kind of what I was concerned about as well. And I just think there are a number of sensitive issues that deserve a lot of time and discussion, and I think we may get a more focused discussion if we separate the two a little bit. So I'd be in favor of that. I think it's really important that we proceed, but it might be wise to wait. That would be my vote.
I think it's wise too. Yeah, a lot going on, but also because there are those times, I know some of you have ever been involved with survey and you do one thing, some of you like, don't like.
Yeah, you just go
check the whole thing. Yeah, and also I think the timeline, letting time pass is a good idea, like the information you send out, that seemed like the more time they allowed people to ruminate, the better the success. And so I think just a little out there and then let it sit for a while.
I see this fitting, dovetailing into our strategic planning as well. And Jeanette, we've got an agenda. We'll get that emailed tomorrow in the format that we want it. So we have our first strategic planning meeting with the entire committee next week on the 6th. And I can see that dovetailing nicely after November in our area and community, and possibly even using a part of that conversation to inform the effort in Mascot. And I think it's going to be a little bit tricky, but we need to let those conversations feed each other, so that our community feels like they're being listened to as well as putting together a committee of individuals that are passionate about this, but level-headed as well.
So, my thought, and I did call and talk to Rich last week because I wanted to know where we were at. I guess in the conversation that Rich and I had, where in our discussion before we thought there was a possibility that we could transition beginning with the 2019-2020 school year, he thought it might have to be pushed back another year. I completely agree that it needs to wait until after the bond election. I think I have no problem with that. I guess from a personal perspective, I'd still like to see an organization of the committees and something so that we're in a position to start, not necessarily November 7th, but dive right into it. And I would still like to see any effort possible, if the timeline feels like you can still do it for the 2019-2020, I mean, start with the 2019 year. I would still push in that direction personally, but the timing of it does need to have the community support, right, obviously, and so in the creation of, I spent a little bit of time with Becky Bronson last week And she had names of people who are Redmond graduates who have expressed to her that they would like to be a part of the community committee. Who, interestingly enough, there were a handful of them that were very much in favor of changing the mascot, even though they're Redmond for life. But anyway, she had suggestions of. She said she could come up with some names if we were doing it. She wanted to know how we were proceeding. I says we will definitely have a community committee. We will have people from the community.
And I've already
participate.
contacted a number of people, the Paiute tribe representatives. They've already been made aware, and the SU folks are already aware.
Can you tell me this? Because I get all these rumblings, and you're really not going to change it, are you? You know, and they claim that the tribe is split. That part of the tribe wants it to stay the same, and part of it. Is that anything you've ever heard?
It wouldn't surprise me, but nobody's ever told me that. I mean, we're all
It's like everything
It
else.
was
John
that way in the
split.
meeting.
John split.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
It was that way in the meeting that I had, when we had originally
Yeah.
with John Dodds a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
There were people in the tribe that would just assume leave it the way it was. The difference back then was that they had all of this pressure from the national groups telling them, you gotta drive this thing too, we can't keep doing this. So,
that wouldn't surprise me at all. So on Harold's point for timeline, I don't. If we were to still organize, and I can get all of the committee in place through October, and then what I had initially put was November, December to hold 2 to 4 parent community. So I moved those parent meetings to November and December. January you could hold as part of your board meeting, have a vote on whether to keep or change. That still allows February, March, April, May to select, which is plenty of time. So I think you could still choose to do that for the fall if you wanted. It's obviously going to take a couple of years to totally change
No, the
the
transition
logos.
the
So-
transition time to get everything done will be when we add it upon, but I think that, I guess part of my reasoning is because, for lack of a better term, the cat's out of the bag.
Mhm.
There's discussion.
Yeah.
They know that we're talking about it, so in the community they're talking about it. And to me, to push it back an additional year, I think is not going to help our cause.
Well, and I
I
think
want time to do it, but I don't want to make it feel like we're dragging this out. Because now people are talking and they're like, so what are you going to do? So what are you going to do?
I think you're fine to think through it that way. I wouldn't be opposed. I actually put on here August for the implementation, August 2019 or August 2020, depending on what you decide. So
Right, and that's my position. I just, as people talk about it, the cat's out of the bag. They're there. The discussion's ensuing by several, so.
So it'd be wise to help guide the narrative.
Right, and again, I'm totally cool with pushing it up past, even to start meetings in December instead of November if necessary. But I just feel like we kind of made an announcement that we're talking about this mascot again, and so let's do something about it. I think that's just painting chapter 10 verse 3. So whatever. That's the way I feel about it.
It sounds reasonable. Sensing that in all
We're okay.
the election.
Push it back.
Okay.
You're almost right on schedule.